good morning. Good morning.
Oh, I've gone off screen.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Perfect.
Hi. Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were just having some firewall
Yeah,
issues.
we've got very strong filtering here at Faraday, which is important for the children.
Yes.
But obviously meant that we weren't able to access
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes, I forgot that when you do Facebook Lives in a school, generally you need to be able to access Facebook. But anyway, hello, good morning. My name is Helen. This is Mommy's Gin Fund. This is gorgeous Claire. Claire is head of Faraday School here in East London. Are we
Yes,
East London?
we are,
We're
near Canning
East
Town.
London, near Canning Town. So we're just going to check that you can see us and that you can hear us. What do you think of my lovely hair, by the way? It's
Wonderful.
much shorter than before. My 6-year-old told me I look like a man.
No.
Yes. 2 days ago, I was just explaining to Claire that actually my hair was down here 2 days ago, and now it's up here, and I'm feeling a bit traumatized. But look at the look.
I think it's brilliant.
It's coming.
It's wonderful.
My whole hair's going to be grey.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
But you don't recognise yourself in mirrors.
No. As Claire was trying to sort out the Wi-Fi, I was like, oh, I'm just going to like quickly put some makeup on, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, who's that? So yeah, all I can see is my
this
auntie.
is quite weird. It doesn't even look like it's you.
No, it's really weird. I look absolutely the spit of my auntie. So Linda, if you're watching, hi.
Yeah.
I look like you. Sorry about that. It's like I can see you on the screen.
It's your inspiration.
Anyway, yes, exactly. So if you're there and if you can see me and hear us, please say hello. Oh, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Helen, the hair looks amazing. Thanks, Emily. I'm going to put you on screen for saying that because you're so lovely. Look, I can do fancy things like this.
I see.
Woo!
I'm starting to understand it now.
What do you think? It's
Yeah.
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this
There's a lot happening.
hashtag of the day, be proud of the grey. I earned these greys. In fact, I say that, but actually I didn't because I was grey at 13.
13?
13.
Oh, wow.
I went grey at 13, and yeah, it's taken me till 42 to show the greys. I'm 21.
Is this the
Times
first time
two.
you've let them out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're great.
Thanks. Yes, I've been dyeing it since I was 13 in
Yeah.
every colour there is, and now I'm like, look, I've got my
I'm quite keen of the changing your hair colour. I think it's like a new start, new mindset, new go.
Mindset. I see what you did there.
I think it's psychological though, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? Because my youngest has just stopped breastfeeding. So I've been breastfeeding for 13 years.
Wow.
And so that feels like the end of an era.
Yeah.
And that feels like, you know, it new hair, new me.
Exactly.
Hi, Claire, gorgeous Claire. Oh, Claire, what? I just found a grey hair on James. James is 6.
Beaten already.
Yeah, all right. Show up. Tell him I said hello. Hi, James. Charlie says hello. Oh, the grow grey thread is still going. Yes, do it, Emily. Grow it out. Grow it out. Love it. Oh, I'm getting pop-up messages. Hold on. So anyway,
Yeah.
as Claire so seamlessly introduced us to, we are here to talk about growth mindset. Now, growth mindset is my new favourite thing.
Okay.
Because it's finally given a name to what I've been trying to do with my kids for ages, but I didn't know it had a name.
No, and it's really broad, I think.
Yeah.
When you start trying to pinpoint exactly what it is, it's pretty much everything we do every day.
But I did quite a good job earlier, didn't I, at pinpointing?
Yeah, you did.
What did I say? I said it's getting rid of fear of failure. Is that what I said? I said something like that, didn't I?
I think you have to have the chance to fail.
Yes.
And so you might feel afraid, but that's fine.
Yes.
Sort of owning the process and the feelings that you have going through it.
Man, honestly, this Facebook Live, guys, if you are here, please say hello. Give us a little wave, give us a like, because then we just know that we're not talking to ourselves.
Okay.
But this Facebook Live is going to be ace because I am here. I'm in London. Yay! I'm in London. I don't feel so weird with my hair in London because when I was on the tube, there were so many like cool hairstyles. When I was in the playground in Devon, I was a bit like, but here I fit in with all the cool dudes.
Fantastic.
I'm in East London with all the artists.
And it's quite arty around here, exactly. I think go for a little walk around the cafe and the wharf later and you'll find there's a number of hairstyles. Yeah, exactly.
But yes, I'm here at Faraday School. So we are in East London by Canning Town.
Exactly.
And we're right on the river, so I can see the river out the window, which is absolutely lovely. Love a bit of water. And there's a taxi with a tree coming out the roof, just
on top of a cafe.
On top of a cafe.
That's what happens here. What can I say?
There's a playground on the there's a playground on the roof. We're living our best creative life here.
And we've got the big boat. We've got a huge red boat which has got a music studio and an animation studio. It's not ours officially, but I like to.
Yeah,
we're next door.
We're
neighbours.
The annex.
Yeah, exactly.
In your annex.
We do have sometimes the newspaper club, if sort of towards the end when they're gathering their stories, I've taken them out on the wharf and they do sort of knock on the door of those places and interview them.
Are there celebs in there?
We found some. Yeah, I think so. Isn't everyone on the wharf a celebrity? Partly.
Obviously ours.
Yeah.
But I just walked past, is it the English Ballet School or the Royal Ballet?
English National Ballet.
English National Ballet.
Yeah.
I walked past there to get here.
Yeah.
And there was loads of limos outside. So
that's probably the celebrities just coming in for their morning.
Honestly, guys, if you want your kids to rub shoulders with celebrities, this is the place to go.
In a very normal way.
Totally chilled out, cash, super cash.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we'll talk a bit more about Faraday later. But the reason we are here is to talk about growth mindset. So I did a little bit of homework. I want you to be very proud of me. Look, I wrote notes.
I think I quite appreciate the notebook paper.
Do you like it?
Yeah. Is that a peach? Giant peach?
Well, I thought it was an apple, but my 12-year-old said, Mum, why have you got bombs on your paper?
Oh. Open to interpretation, though. And maybe that's one of those things where there's no correct answer. And really, we're all different. We've got a different view. If you can argue your point. Did she have a good argument?
She's always got a good argument. Good. She just won the school award for citizenship because she's so good at arguing.
Fantastic. Yeah. That is really going to come in.
I don't know where she gets that from.
We've been enjoying that at home.
Yeah. Great. I was like, can't you win something? So, like being quiet, sitting down and being quiet. Yeah. Anyway, so I did my homework. So growth mindset. So basically, when was this? Do you know when was the whole Dweck thing?
It was quite a long time ago now. No, it's quite a long time ago. And I think that's why you're starting to see it in schools more and more, and there's different versions of it, and you're sort of going on the research that Carol Dweck did, and then there's been quite a lot since, sort of building on it and how in practice we can put it into schools, and also I think everyday life.
Yeah, at home. So that's what we're going to be telling you how to do this in real life. So, Professor Carol Dweck, some point in the past that I'm not quite sure when it was, she got two sets of children, and she made them both do a test. And at the end of the test, she praised one group of children for the effort that they put in, and the other group of children, she praised them on their intelligence and how clever they were. And this is what she found. So the kids that she praised on effort were more willing to try a harder test. And when they did the second harder test, the kids who were praised on effort got the highest scores. The kids who were praised on their intelligence were much more interested in comparing their results with their peers, started to get a niggling self-doubt and started to try and work out where in their pecking order they came, and didn't do very well in the higher test. So basically the conclusion was, if you praise effort instead of achievement, then you promote this idea and you give these children the self-belief that actually effort, if you put in effort, you'll get achievement. So by promoting the effort, basically by saying you can do it, can do it, it gives them the confidence to try again, and then eventually they can do it.
Absolutely.
And that's it. So we finished now. Thanks.
You really summed that up beautifully.
I was not reading it in any way.
But I think what you said about the language that we're using with them, and really when we think about what we're trying to do here, it needs to be a whole school approach, and really as much as we can get the parents involved as well, that's what makes it work. It's everything we're saying to the children all of the time, and it's things you might not really think of as you're doing it, because it might be about, just the other day in reception, one of the little children there, he's only been here for 4 days. I was doing some work with them to go up for our birthday celebrations today, and he did it really, really quickly, and I said, oh, fantastic, you did that so quickly. And it was done really nicely, but you've got to really catch yourself in that situation, because am I praising him then for doing things fast?
Yes.
And is that what we're aiming for? No, not really. It's not a race. So you've got to sort of, and that's why we're all going to make little mistakes like that. And you've got to rethink it and think, actually, I thought you really put effort into that. I really thought you focused. I really thought you found it difficult at the beginning, finding the tissue paper and the glitter, but eventually we did it. And it's that sort of what you wanted to empower him next time to think, oh, even if I'm stuck at the beginning, I can keep going.
See, I remember my mum and dad, and I'm sorry, mum and dad, if you're watching this, but my mum and dad, whenever I used to get home from school, they'd always ask me what I got in a test.
Yeah.
And the first thing they always said was, what did everyone else get? That was the first thing, because what they wanted to do was they wanted to place me in order of the other kids. And that's how they judged how good I was where I came in the pecking order. And there was one particular friend called Kerry Whiteside, who was my best friend. And if you're watching, Kerry, she probably is actually. Hi, Kerry. She was my absolutely best friend. And she still is one of my absolute best friends. But the first thing my mum and dad always said was, I'd go, oh my God, I got 94%. What did Kerry get?
Oh, right.
Always, every time. And it was like, and I remember I got my GCSE results, and I'd phoned my mum and dad, from the phone box, because it was in the olden days. So I had to go to the phone box and phone my mum and dad. And then they said, what did you get? And I got 6. We only did 9 GCSEs at the time. There was no A stars. I'd just like to point that out.
Okay.
I got 6 A's, 2 B's, and a C.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Did
and
you win the
Thanks. The first thing my dad said was, what did you get the C in? And he was devastated that I got a C. But anyway, so it's all about language and about how, instead of going, wow, that's really good, you tried really hard, or well done, or like my kids, I'm always trying to say to my kids, oh, I really like how you did this bit, this bit, and this bit. What about doing that with that bit, to try and encourage them rather than...
I think, and it works with academics, but it also works socially as well. So I think we try to do that where they can see which mistakes they've made in a test, for example, and go back and see, oh, look, we can do it again. And they can feel, if we give them that time that you go through the wrong answers with them, if it is one of those things that has wrong answers, then they can feel empowered immediately because you've looked at it. And then next time they can, they've grown their brain in a sense and they're able to do it better. But I think pastorally and socially, it's good to do that too, because they do make mistakes. They will sort of knock over some blue paint and it goes all over the wall. And maybe they were running, maybe they were going a little bit fast. But if you sort of look at it and think, what could I have done differently? Is it really that bad? And sort of work through the problem with them. That's sort of how to motivate them to carry on.
Yeah.
So it can be small little things like that. And knowing you're not in a box.
Yeah.
You're not the 96%.
Yes.
That's just what you got that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could, oh God, I could, thanks for the counselling.
It's okay.
We could talk for hours about exams and why they are a load of rubbish. But
unless they're used well.
Unless they're used
as a learning tool.
Yes, to identify areas of focus.
Yeah. But it is, I think, actually, the best times I've had with children, not the best times I've had with children is looking at an exam paper. But
that's my favourite thing in the world to do.
That element of they got it wrong, you look at it again, give them a bit more time and a bit of support, and then they can see they can do it. That's a light bulb.
Yeah.
And that's when they think, next time maybe I can get a higher mark, maybe I can even cope with a question like that. Because often you'll go through and they've done all the ones they're really confident with. They didn't really look at the other ones and it's just empty paper. But knowing if they try and they put it and they maybe spend a bit more time on that question, they will be able to do it. It's confidence, really.
That's what teaching's all about,
That's
isn't it? That's the beauty of teaching, because otherwise you are just training robots.
Exactly.
We don't want robots.
No.
Okay, so let's give some good examples of language. So these are some good examples that you guys can use at home. So instead of saying, for example, if your child says, I can't do it,
which they say all of the time.
Yes. Mrs. Murdoch, I can't do it.
And especially straight away.
Yes.
And then you really know it's like a learned helplessness. They want the help, they want the support, or maybe the encouragement.
They don't.
If they want somebody there. And the one that Carol Dweck introduced or made famous, but also the one that at Faraday we do, and that really sticks, is just saying yet.
Yeah.
So being able to say I can't do it. And then perhaps the teacher might prompt yet.
Yes.
So of course they can't do it yet. That's because it's something new, it's something challenging, it's something we're teaching them. If they knew how to do it already, we might not be doing that in our lesson. So it's going to be something they can't do, and that's the best bit.
My teacher always used to say to me, Helen, if you could do it already, we'd swap places.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't do it yet. So I think this is your top tip. If this is the only thing you take from today, then that's it. You can't do it yet. Okay, right. We've got a list on the wall, which I'm just gonna. Okay, right. Okay.
Those are the clues.
Miss Murdoch.
I can't see that because I don't have my glasses.
Good. Oh, this is a proper test then. Oh, that'll do. It's good enough, miss. My work's good enough.
I suppose, yeah, with that one, I think they have to think, is there a way that, obviously, can they go back and improve it? Can they make it even better?
Oh, but miss, it'll do.
It'll do. It's never enough.
Yeah, continue, bleed.
But maybe looking around and seeing what everyone else is doing and thinking, challenging themselves. I think what we want to have the children to have is sort of the desire to challenge themselves and giving them the option. So they might choose an easier task to begin with, but knowing there's always an extension, there's always somewhere you can go with it. It's really nice. Yeah. So in a maths lesson, you might all start with one thing, but maybe giving them the option where they can choose the level of challenge works quite well for quite a lot of children. And they got that ownership and they think, oh, I'm going to choose level 2, give it a go. And then it's the real sense of success again.
In my daughter's school, it's colours.
Yeah.
So she's like, Mom, I did a purple today.
Okay, and purple's good.
Yay! And I think I don't really know what that means, but I go, well,
yeah.
She goes, I started with a green. And then, sometimes she goes, Mom, Miss said I could start on a red. And she gets so excited when she's allowed to start on a red. But also, I think sometimes with kids, they've just got to start, just do something. Like sometimes with adults in particular, or the people that I know, we tend to like freeze because we're so scared of doing it wrong that we just freeze, and then we don't do anything, and then that's how you're going to learn if you don't do anything. So sometimes you just got to do something, haven't you? And then you can learn from that. And
I think that's where it's about the perseverance and the grit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think one of the fundamental things we've done with the children is teach them that sometimes it's going to feel quite horrible and you're stuck and you don't think you're going to be able to get out, and it's that bit that we all go through in the learning process, and that's the bit where you're at the bottom of the learning pit.
Oh yeah.
So you're there thinking, I just want to stop now. I'll never be able to play tennis because I'm useless. But them knowing, actually, if you keep going and you persevere through that really uncomfortable part that everyone feels, then actually they can improve for them, and they can become very, very good at tennis. And sort of seeing, no, you can though. You can improve from where you are.
Yeah.
You can always make.
I'm not sure Serena Williams needs to worry, but I could be better than I am now.
But think about how much hard work and effort she's put in.
When Serena Williams was born, this is what I say to my kids.
Okay.
She couldn't play tennis when she was born.
What a good point.
That's what I say that all the time. My kids are constantly like, oh. And I always try and think of like really random examples. So they go, oh, Mom, I can't do this maths problem. And I'll pick somebody completely random and just go, well.
That is what they say as well for the growth mindset, though, that, babies are born wanting to, with very growth mindsets rather than fixed mindsets. So they think they can do anything. Yes. And then there comes that time, and it's partly because of us and the things that we're saying to them, and they're getting a bit more self-aware and a bit self-conscious. They start putting those parameters on themselves and thinking, I can't do this, or I'm not a maths person. That's the classic, I'm good at English, but I'm not good at maths.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to stop. And I think that's where parents can get involved, because we do it without thinking sometimes. And you think, oh, I was no good at maths. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Whereas, and that's easy to do, but you almost need to say the same story, but I wasn't very good at maths, but I kept going. And actually, look, now I can do all of these calculations and I can do my times tables, or I still don't remember mine. Should we do them together?
Yes.
And I think it is quite an effort to do, but once you get used to it, they'll realise.
Or shall we try to think of a game to do where we can learn to do them? Or, okay, if you find it difficult learning them that way, shall we try learning it that way? Or which ones are you really good at? That's amazing that you could do all of those. Let's try and do one more a week, or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because they've probably put the time and effort into those ones that they can do.
Like the 1 times table.
Yeah.
That's my favourite.
But I think it ties in there, because I think with the teachers, we've obviously done lots of training as staff, and we've even had parent training as well. And I think it's the modelling. It's so much about what you're saying, and then also allowing them to see that we find things hard too. We don't know it straight away. We make mistakes, but we get over it. You know, I can spill paint all over my office, or I can spell something incorrectly, or whatever it is. And that's all how I react to it. They see all of the time. And I think what Carol Dweck was saying, and lots of the other research is saying, is that those years between sort of 1 and 3, sort of preschool, they are obviously really paying attention to all of those things. Even the reaction, you know, if you lock yourself out of your car or whatever it might be, it is stressful, and it's okay to feel those feelings, but we should be modelling.
Yes.
Oh, this is a good challenge.
Oh, jolly hockey sticks. I seem to have locked myself out of the car.
I used that example because I actually did that the other day.
Oh, nice. How did that go?
Badly.
Good.
This is personal, not about growth mindset, but it did sort of give me an overwhelming sense of panic. I had all my money and all my phone and everything was in the car.
Yes.
So then you're suddenly stranded, and I had from the trolley the £1, but there are no phone boxes anymore.
No.
So
what did you do with your £1? Did you use it to like smash the window?
There aren't phone boxes, so I had to go and find a shop that let me use their phone, that let me ring the one number I know.
Which was who?
My husband.
Did you do that? Hello,
hello, it's me. I'm here.
Do you remember when you used to do that in phone boxes? Be like, I've got 27 seconds left, so I just want to tell you. You can see it like 26, 25, 24.
Yeah.
You're probably none of you are old enough to see that, I'm sure. Right, we've got some questions. Should we let's see a question, because we've got some questions here. Right. Right. Sabine would like to know, do you know any good websites that might help her to learn about growth mindset?
There are quite a few. I think Carol Dweck's is called. I don't know. Shall I send? Can I send them?
Do you know what we'll do? We'll come back in a minute and we'll add them in the comments.
I don't want to get it slightly wrong and then I've given the wrong one.
But if you Google Carol Carol Dweck DWEK.
I think CK.
Do you?
Yeah.
I copied that from your writing. Or maybe I think I'll go back and have a look and see how I could do that copying better.
I hope I'm right, but if I'm wrong, then I'll...
Okay. Well, we'll just pretend. Yeah. Just if you're watching on catch up, just fast forward a bit. Okay. It's either C or CK. We don't know. Anyway, Google her, and we will get some websites and we'll put them in the comments. So, Sabine, come back or stay here, obviously, but come back later and have a look in the comments. We'll put some good ones on there.
There are quite a few nice videos as well to sort of show the children about. I think a lot of it is about knowing that their brain is like a muscle, so it's not fixed in that sense. And actually, if they do the exercise for their brain, they can grow it. And for them to understand a little bit of sort of about how their brain is structured, which seems scary, but if they think of it as a muscle, they realize that actually they're in charge of that muscle and they can improve it. So there's really nice videos that tell you about that. We'll send them.
Yeah, we'll come back. So if you're watching and you're interested, come back later and we'll put all the links in the comments because that'd be cool. Right, Andrea wants to know, have you got any advice for summer children who are the youngest and the smallest in class and maybe struggling on various levels? Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
What would you do?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think it's about their personalities and how they're fitting into that little class, and what the struggle is.
Yeah, come back, Andrea. Come and give us some examples of some struggle. Do you mean just that they're sort of they're
building
maybe
their
the last at doing stuff, or like finding it difficult?
Yeah,
to do things?
I think that's true. But I find it depends, because some of them have such different experience when they come in here. So some of them have been to nurseries and they've been there all day. Some of them have been sort of running free in Devon. Others of them have been, just the only child. And I think that's why I understand the summer birthday, winter birthday, but also it's sometimes what you've been doing with them out of school that really makes the big impact or what's happened with them before. I think little successes are always nice, and really praising the little things they're getting right so they can see that improvement as much as possible. So even if it's something like getting changed for PE, maybe they're finding that harder and they're always the last one. Hopefully your teachers are well aware of that and they're able to praise them at their level. So it's not that system that we used to have in the past where it was like, but Karen could do it. Was it Karen?
Kerry Whiteside.
Kerry Whiteside could do it because they're an individual, and you know, this time they were able to do it slightly quicker. Maybe you can have a little timer if that's what you're looking at. How many buttons can they do themselves, or can they put their shoes on?
So it's noticing the small successes, isn't it?
I think
Notice
it is.
The little things.
And sort of talking to them even from that age about how everyone's different. And we've got things that we find easy at the moment and things that other people find easy. And we'll build upon those successes. And I suppose for parents, knowing that all balances out.
And once they settle in, they're going to be the best at something, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Every child is the best at something.
Yeah.
So it might take a couple of weeks to work out what that is, or maybe a couple of months, or even a couple of years, but they're going to be the best at something, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what I'm always saying to my kids. At some point, I honestly believe that everybody is like Olympic gold medal winning at something.
Yeah.
You just need to find out what it is. And sometimes you could be an adult before you find out what that is.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, a lot of my friends have discovered their sort of superpower as they're getting older, you know, when you suddenly realise what your real strengths are. So it doesn't matter if you're in like the second week of reception and you don't know what you're really good at yet, because you'll find out.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
I feel like I came to a point, and it's a little bit like growth mindset, where you try to do the things you've been avoiding. Because I think I was quite fixed mindset growing up, and it was all things I didn't have to work that hard. It seemed to all sort of be fine. And then you can just carry on doing what you're good at forever. Or you can try things like going on Facebook Live.
Yeah, isn't she doing a good job?
Which you might be really concerned about doing.
Such a good job.
But I found, later in life, trying to do the things you don't like, trying to do the things that you would otherwise avoid.
Yeah.
And then you really feel that sense of success, because you think, wow, I would never have been able to stand up in front of all those people, or I would never have been able to do that thing.
We won't talk about how many people are watching. It's fine.
Oh yeah, this is why I don't have glasses on.
She took her glasses off because she didn't want to see how many people.
Don't want to see anything.
There's like 2 of them. It's fine. Actually, that's really interesting, because I have an absolute phobia of boats. Like a phobia of boats. And I grew up in Loughborough, which is like the furthest point from the sea in the UK. So actually, it didn't matter that I had a phobia of boats. When am I ever going to be on a boat? Then I moved to Devon.
Are you okay looking at them?
I don't mind looking at them, but I just don't want to be on one.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to work out why, and it's claustrophobia.
Yeah.
It's inability to escape.
Yeah.
It's like being trapped.
Yeah.
I hate it. Even now, I'm like, oh. But now I live in Devon, and I live from my house, I can see the river, and at the mouth of the river is the sea. I'm like, I am not going to live in Devon with a phobia of boats.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that, because that's a waste of a life. So Lucy's probably watching. Hi, Lucy. She said she would tune in. Hi, Lucy. Lucy, I haven't forgiven her yet, booked us to go on a sailing course.
Oh.
So I cried. Like, I genuinely cried. I cried for about a week beforehand. I didn't sleep for about a week. And literally, my husband would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, "What are you doing?" And I just go, And on the morning, I cancelled 3 times on the morning. And I was like, "Hi, Lucy. Can't find my shoelaces." And she was like, "I'll pick you up in 10 minutes." I'm like, "Hi, Lucy. My hair's in my eyes. I can't do it." Like, "I'll be there in 10 minutes." And she basically picked me up because she didn't trust me to go.
Yeah.
And we went and we did the sailing morning. It was 3 hours of sailing. And I got on the boat, and I haven't been on a boat since. But I did it.
Yeah.
And the sense of achievement was amazing. And if you want a laugh, if you go on Instagram stories, you'll see me on this boat, like basically on the floor in the fetal position. But I got on that boat. I was so determined to do it. And actually, it was really good for my kids to see me being genuinely terrified.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, genuinely terrified. And then they saw photos of me just like, like euphoric when I was on this boat.
This is the perfect growth mindset story.
Yes,
it's perfect.
And now I'm gonna sail the Atlantic. No, I'm not.
But and I think it links into the modelling. They do. You know, they're seeing us all of the time, aren't they?
Yes.
And this is where they're going to know that it's okay to feel that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and actually, that's part of the. That's part of what you're doing. You're trying something new.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel great at times, but then at the end, that's success.
But what was really good is they all love boats.
Okay.
So I've got 2 older girls and then 2 younger boys, and both the girls go sailing.
Yeah.
So sailing for them is, you know, riding a bike. They go on boats on their own, like across the water and whatever.
Wow.
Like they have a great old time.
Mm.
And to see me so scared of something that they find so easy, was a real role reversal, and it was
Yeah.
really valuable, and I hated it, and I still haven't forgiven you, Lucy, but I'm very, very glad I did it. All right, we've got some more details from Andrea.
Okay.
Here we go. Right. So Andrea says she went to nursery in the school she's at, but she's struggled to adapt to year 1, and now she's in year 2. She's still a little bit babyish. She missed more playtime. Oh, she misses playtime.
Because
Yeah, and the pictures. Also, the kids are much bigger. Others are a bit more advanced. She takes a while with working class because she's dreaming, according to last year's teachers. She says, I count a lot. I'm not sure she's very resilient. I want to help her have a growth mindset. So how can you grow resilience in children?
I think with some of those, I would play some games where things go wrong slightly. So it's almost like we were talking earlier about taking little risks, and they're sort of like controlled risks, and you can take them together. So some games, I mean, Jenga's coming to mind, but anything like that where she's not going to necessarily win the game. That's always a good, don't let them win every time you play. But sort of seeing that you can make a mistake and you can move on. Often art's a classic one where they will sort of get to sort of 7, 8 and then suddenly decide they can't do it, and they become really self-conscious. But sort of letting them be free, splash some paint around, maybe things have gone in the wrong places, and then using the mistake to their advantage. So I would play little games that might help her. One-to-one, and sort of feeling that, getting stuck and then pushing through.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? So, because you want to rescue them, but the whole point of growth mindset is that you mustn't rescue.
Yeah.
Because you have to let children fail. And I think it's very easy for all parents to jump in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm terrible. What's good actually is when you've got lots of kids like me, quite often they just have to get on with it, because you can't tie 4 lots of kids' shoelaces at the same time. So sometimes by the time you get to number 4, they've actually done it themselves. They've worked out how to do it. But it's so easy to, like, I was doing jigsaws with my 2-year-old the other day, which has to be one of the most thankless tasks. But there'd be like, he'd have one piece missing and he'd have the piece in his hand, and it was so obvious which way up it goes, and it's the wrong way up. Then he turns it one way, it's still wrong. Turns it the other way, still wrong. Turns it the other way, and it took every millimeter of my being not to just go, there you go, yay, well done. So I was like sitting on my hands, but it's so tempting, isn't it, to rescue and show all the time. But sometimes you just got to let them back off a bit and let them learn how to do it themselves, haven't you? Obviously, without them breaking a limb.
And I think school, you do get that, don't you? And that's why the transition times can be quite tricky, because you sort of are, they're in a much bigger group and they're in different teachers, and they do sort of, there is a lot of sort of getting on with things as well. But that can work to your advantage in a sense that, they sometimes solve the problem themselves, which gives them that real sense of purpose and achievement in doing it. So unless there's a real, something you can think of in the school day, I'm just thinking about the year 2 girl.
Do you know what, my daughter had exactly the same thing, because in our school, because we're in a village, there's only 20 something kids per year, so they do mixed classes. So they have year 1, 2 together, then have year 3, 4 together. And when she went from year 2 to year 3, she went from being the oldest to the youngest, and she hated it. She really, really, really found it difficult, and she really struggled to be the smallest, especially because she's an October birthday, so she's one of the physically the biggest and the strongest and the oldest. So she found that really difficult. And do you know what? Part of it, we just had to wait. She just sort of rode it out a bit. And then when she became year 4 and she was the bigger one in the class, then now she loved it. But now she's in year 5 and she's one of the smaller ones again. But actually now she's looking up to the year 6s a bit more. So sometimes it's just kids they go through phases, don't they? Sometimes. So.
I think, and it's about sort of managing your worries and anxieties. I think it'd be good to talk to the teacher and to make sure we're all alert. But equally, I think you're right. Sometimes time can be really helpful. Yeah. So, and you can't love every minute of every school day, can you, as well? So and over-worrying and over-protecting can be a little bit tricky.
It is tricky, though. It's really tricky. And especially it is hard if you're used to having lots of playtime, and things do change when you go into year 2, don't they? It becomes a bit more schooly. Less reception-y.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I suppose that's it. Every new year, we try to we've just had our sort of 5 days is our 5th day in school. But that's such an important time, isn't it? Because although they might be with the same children, it is the parameters have changed slightly. This is a new expectation for the new year. You've got new teachers there. You've got, different things happening, and giving a nice bit of time for them to get used to all of that and sort of throw glitter around and put some tissue paper in places and get back into the swing of things, because also they've had 6 weeks off, haven't they? So I think for the teachers,
long weeks off.
for the teachers who've been working away, and for the children, it's getting back into that sort of frame. And I do think there is a lot to be said for that structure and knowing how that thing runs, and hopefully over time getting to know that new teacher, she'll be able to support her slightly in the things that she needs. If she needs a bit of a play around, then maybe that can be incorporated into the day.
Is that, Andrea, it might be worth asking if there's a body scheme in your school as well, because maybe she could body one of the younger children. If she's in year 2 and she's sort of missing the year 1s or feeling quite little, what about making her feel bigger and older by pairing her up with the year 1 maybe at playtime? If she could find, or maybe she could have a special job where she goes to get the fruit from the office, or maybe she's responsible for collecting the register from going into reception maybe, and when she sees the reception children, she'll realise how much bigger than them she is. So although she's smaller than maybe some of the other children in her class, she's bigger than some of the other children as well.
That works so nicely.
So maybe she could look after a younger child, but also maybe there's an older, bigger child in her class that could look after her. So maybe it's some sort of little bodying something. Andrea, just say, by the way, I tried to be positive and persistent. Andrea, you're doing a fantastic job. I know you're doing a fantastic job. You don't need to justify what you're doing. You are doing a fantastic job. Keep going. Try not to worry. Right, let's have a look. So, Lorraine, here we go. Lorraine has a stubborn 13-year-old. I don't believe that, Lorraine. How can that be true? Lorraine, I have a stubborn 13-year-old who, despite gentle encouragement in subjects she doesn't enjoy as much and trying different things to just give things a go, she still lacks the confidence and will easily talk herself out of it. Is there anything you can suggest for me to try? Right, how are we going to get Lorraine's 13-year-old feeling a bit more confidence to give things a go?
I think that's a classic, isn't it? It's when you've got the blank page in front of you. And
it's
I think
that age as well, 13 is a tricky age,
self-conscious
isn't it?
slightly. And so it would depend on the subject, but I do think just making that start is the best tip in the world. So even if you sort of teach her to start their story, even if it's totally rubbish and she hates every bit of it, she's begun, hasn't she? And often if you carry on, you might cross out that first paragraph, but you've got, you're not in the I'm stuck and I'm not ever gonna ever do it. I'm never gonna come out. So I think it's nice to be able to, if she can do it on her own, teach her to start writing, or to start that, do the questions she can answer in the maths paper or whatever it might be, but also have some little tools which might help her with it. So if it was a story, like I often think we ask so much of these children, they write stories all the time. We're like, write a story about a cave, write a story about a jungle.
I couldn't do it.
Would we be able to do that? So giving little, maybe like story cubes is probably too young for her, but things that will give her that inspiration to just start that first section. So if it was a geography homework, for example, looking together maybe at that part of the world and think, this is interesting, start there. At the beginning, that might just give her the impetus, and then you've modelled it as well. So next time, if she's looking at Germany or whatever it might be, she'll think, last time I did that when I was doing France, so I'll try it myself.
Sometimes it's releasing the block, isn't it? I know that when I'm writing blogs or when I'm doing stuff, like once you've taken the first step, the first 2 or 3 steps, then it sort of goes, and it all sort of comes tumbling out, doesn't it? But it's there's a fantastic quote which I cannot for the life of me remember. That's something about procrastination. I'll try and remember it. It's a really good quote, but it basically says it's like death through procrastination, where you don't do anything, and then the only way, what is it? There's a really good one that says the only way to truly fail is not to try.
Absolutely. I think Michael Faraday said something like that. Yeah, it's something
very on brand.
I know. Interestingly, I know that one.
Tell us about Michael Faraday.
But no, it's like, but still try, basically. You may think nothing's impossible, but still try. Or you may fail.
Everything's impossible until you try.
Yeah. Well, it's
There's
true.
some good quotes like that.
Yeah,
I read one the other day. It was somebody very famous. Can't remember who it was, but they basically said something like, "Everything's impossible until you try."
I sometimes think though, but I know I sort of put Faraday in there, but that's because obviously we know about him.
We are at Faraday School.
But often looking at those famous people, and seeing the amount of things they've had to do to get there. So say Serena Williams or whoever, Mike Faraday would have done thousands of experiments. He spent his life doing it to get the one, or two things that he's invented. Those people don't just wake up one day really and have their new invention. They've actually put the time in. And I think sometimes those stories, about some of the basketball players and,
Did you see that quote that's just gone around Facebook?
No.
There's I live my life through memes, through Facebook memes. There's a thing on Facebook about a basketball player.
Okay.
And I think it was Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think Michael
I might
Jordan's
have got this
classic.
completely wrong, but I think it was Michael Jordan, and he said something like, I've been trusted with taking the final shot, and I've missed 33 times.
Yes.
I've failed to score the point in the last minute 97 times or something, and I fell over on my face 8 times, but I still kept going, or something like that. There's a quote that's going around Facebook at the moment, and it's all about that. And it's like, nobody woke up and went, ooh, light bulb. I know what I'll invent. I'll invent a light bulb. It's like people try, and I think actually it's really good. Like, a classic in my house is cakes. Like, I am rubbish at cakes. Absolutely rubbish at cakes. Yes. My daughter is very, very good at cakes. She's 12. She's excellent at cakes. But they've seen me fail and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. And now I have to admit, this is not my growth mindset. I just make her do it because she's so much better than me. But actually, now what I should do is get her to teach me how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we play to our strengths. I'm good at decorating, so she makes it and I'll decorate it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good at everything, do you?
You don't have to be, but you could do if you kept trying.
I don't know. You haven't tried one of my cakes.
I know. I'm just, to be honest, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of all these failed birthdays with these cakes coming out. Sorry.
I've only made about 3 birthday cakes for my kids in their entire existence. But one was when my eldest was 2. And like when you have one child and you think you're like, Pinterest mom.
Do it yourself.
Your Pinterest mom. And she was really into In the Night Garden, and I made this In the Night Garden cake, but she's dairy free. So I made it with dairy free spread, and it melted like this. It just looked, oh God, it was, so, I'm going to find a picture. I'll find a picture and I'll add it to these comments.
Okay.
And I brought it out to the party and all the kids went, oh, and then I put it on the table and they all went, ooh.
I think, yeah.
And I was like, who'd like a slice of cake? And they were like, no, I don't want a slice of cake.
Oh, so you have to have those experiences too.
Exactly. But if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have learned not to use dairy-free spread. In fact, if anyone knows how to make icing not using dairy, that'd be really helpful. Right. Anyway, so I'm just looking at time. We're going to have to wrap up in a minute, but I'm just looking at our list of. See, look, I wrote a list. Look.
Yeah, we've skipped around a little bit, haven't we?
We have. Let's see if anyone's got any questions for Claire. Please do post them now because we're only going to be here for a few more minutes.
The other thing that we find is really useful actually for children is using some visual cues to sort of explain to them the learning process. So the learning pit, I think we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
That's a really good one. Maybe we could send a little link to that.
That's in our blog actually. The blog that Lorraine, lovely Lorraine, somewhere down here. Oh, here it is. On the Gin Fund blog. So for those of you that don't know, we have a Mommy's Gin Fund website, which is mommysginfund.co.uk. And on the homepage, you'll see under blog, there's a blog called 8 Ways to Encourage Growth Mindset in Your Children, which was written by fabulous Laura. Hi, Laura. And there's a whole list of really practical ways that you can encourage growth mindset. And the picture of the learning pit is in that.
Yeah. I think it helps them to see, and also it's a good reminder. So we sometimes have them in our classrooms so that they can see, this is just where you are in the pit. And that's the best bit because that's when you're learning, and then it will be a struggle to get out, but that's because you're doing something new, and then you've got the success at the end. And the other one that's really helpful for them is to see, it's called the iceberg illusion. And so at the top, obviously, above the water, you've got success, and that's the bit you can see. But all of that iceberg that is underneath is everything that had to go into that success. So often when we're looking around the classroom, a little bit like the girl in year 2, actually, she's looking around seeing all of these things that are happening as well. And the comparison with your friend is thinking, look at her and all of this success, but actually we don't know what went into that, and you have to put the sort of effort, perseverance, grit, keeping going, bit of courage, bit of bravery. I think actually we're asking the children to be quite brave sometimes and take a risk, and that's really important, that we're not just coasting.
But that's the whole thing with social media as well, isn't it? It's very easy to see the tips of social media is basically just a load of tips of icebergs, especially Instagram, unless you're following me, in which case you'll realise if you want to feel better about your own parenting, then basically just come and follow Mommy's Gym Fund on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, social media, I mean, the kids that are growing up nowadays have got to think about things like that. But that is all tips of icebergs. You know, you've got no idea what's going on underneath. And just because somebody got something right, you don't know how hard it was for them. Like I was lucky. I was at school. I was one of those really annoying kids that seemed to be like really good at everything and found everything really easy.
But that's how you can get a fixed mindset as well. That's quite dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And then what happened was, that'll do.
Yeah,
and
or
then,
maybe it'll be fine because I didn't revise for the last one.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you end up with a C.
Yeah, suddenly it'll come crashing down.
Exactly.
And then you don't have the skills because you haven't been working on it and you haven't been training your brain.
And if you've never failed before, when
really
you do fail, it's catastrophic.
Absolutely. And you get that quite a lot with girls as well.
And actually, I know somebody who very sadly committed suicide because he had always achieved, you know, A star, first, did a PhD, didn't get the result that he wanted to get. And it's the first time in his life he'd ever failed anything, like passed his driving test first time, got the 100 meters gold medal at school, you know, one of those, never learned how to fail. And it was absolutely catastrophic, so bad that he killed himself at 23.
Yeah.
It was like, God. And there's a brilliant thing that goes, I'm always saying all these things that go around Facebook, but a teacher wrote on the blackboard, 1 times 9 is 8. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27. 4. So basically the whole of the times tables was correct, apart from the first one that said 1 times 9 is 8. And all the kids like giggled and was like, oh, you got it wrong. And she's like, isn't that interesting? I got it right 11 times and I got it wrong once. And the only thing that you're all talking about is the fact that I got it wrong.
Yeah.
What about these 11 times I got it right?
Yeah.
And I thought that is such a fantastic
that's
example to show that actually.
And we don't celebrate the things that they continue to do right.
Yes.
You know, that just becomes the norm, I suppose, doesn't it? And then
and that's why I sort of feel sorry for my eldest one, because she's one of these good girls.
Yeah.
You know, she takes her plate and she pushes her chair in and she puts her shoes away and she's always on time in the morning and she brushes her teeth and, you know, all of those things. And it's so easy to forget to say, I've noticed that you did that. Well done. I noticed that you did that. And that's when I used to be a youth worker at the Prince's Trust, and I used to work with a lot of kids who were out of school for various reasons. And mostly it was because they'd never been noticed doing the good stuff. Everybody always noticed the bad stuff and nobody ever noticed the good stuff. So that's and
maybe that's one to think of as a parent, as, you know, at the end of the day, they're like, I've had a terrible time. And actually you come down to it and it's like, oh, the one thing they weren't first in the line, or they didn't get to finish their drawing. And you've got to sort of dig down into it, haven't you? Because it wasn't all awful. And I can promise you that as a teacher. I think, you know as well. But I think, you know, so much wonderful stuff happens in the day, and then as they're going home, they're crying. Think, what could have happened in the last 5 minutes?
Basically, they couldn't find their coat. But, you know, they got a merit in assembly for something spectacular, but they lost their coat. So today has been a complete disaster.
And I think it's about being aware, isn't it? And just noticing those things. And I think what Carol Dweck says, and lots of the other research, is saying that, it's our language and it's recognising, how they're doing with things. I've forgotten my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say.
You were saying
it was about. I've forgotten. It's gone, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It'll come back to us in a second.
It's going to come back in a moment.
I was distracted because Becky made a really good point, and then we are going to have to say bye.
Okay.
But Becky says, I think learning something new when your kid is at school. Sorry, Becky, let me put you on screen. Lovely Becky says, I think learning something new when your kid is at school is really helpful for seeing things from their point of view. Starting learning a language or an instrument really changes your perspective. Yes. And actually experiencing the fear of sailing, for me, I haven't felt fear like that for a long time. And actually that was really useful because I'm the sort of mom that goes, it'll be all right. you're all right, you'll be all right, just
Yeah.
get on with it. Because I generally don't find very many things scary. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. But now it's given me, you know, when my kids are freaking out, now I'm like, actually, I know how you feel.
But recognizing the range of emotions, I think it does tie into like mental health, and what
Yeah.
a lot of what we do in primary school is sort of recognizing emotions, and that's half the battle.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that you're feeling this way. What can we do about it? Or,
Yeah.
you know, that's okay to feel sad about it. And I think they're not always going to come home and be like, right, I'm going to do my homework, mum, and da. Some of it will be slightly tricky, and it will go like this. And maybe that's what we were thinking before, is just like allowing them to go through those emotions and not expecting it all to be easy, because actually sometimes those are the bits where they've got
That's
through
life
it.
anyway,
It's life,
isn't it? That's like, imagine how boring it would be if you could just do everything first time. It's definitely not for me anyway. Right, Becky says she started the ukulele. Becky,
Oh,
I want to
wow.
see. Next Facebook Live is Becky doing the
Okay,
ukulele.
Good.
She says, but she does say, gold star to Becky, I'm not very good yet.
Perfect.
You've passed
That's
the
what you
test,
need.
Becky.
We're actually
Gold
thinking of starting,
star.
we want to do like group instrument lessons during the day. So we're
God,
just
good luck.
buying a set of ukuleles. So imagine, I don't know, 15 7-year-olds with ukuleles, and then you'll feel like you're fine.
Then you'll just be doing a great job.
Yeah.
I remember I did recorder at primary school, and I actually mimed for 2 years.
Did they ask you to?
No, I mean,
Because I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Just like when we're in the choir, just obviously know where I've worked. I've heard of the places where they would just be like,
That's
don't blow, yeah, just pretend to
outrageous.
play a recorder.
They'd do that to me if I was in the
It's
choir,
awful,
'cause
isn't
I
it? It's
can't
very
sing
old school.
yet.
Yeah.
But I would totally be able to. If
I think the
tried.
joy of singing, that's a really classic one, because you can turn someone off, even giving it a go and singing. Like, we're not all going to be pitch perfect,
No.
but doing it and being together and singing songs and dancing and all of that's so important.
But
You
it's
don't want
funny-
them to stop because they don't think they're quite on key.
But I remember, I can tell you what I was wearing,
Oh, gosh.
everything, where it was, and at school, I know who it was, and I suspect she's watching now, and you know who it was. She's one of my very good friends. But she, when we were about 11, told me that my singing was awful, and I have not sang a note since.
Oh, see, this is a
Because-
perfect new challenge.
Yes, because like everything I've ever done from the age of 11, I've mimed, because I'm too scared to do it, because I was really picked on for being rubbish.
But this isn't that you are coming out with all the perfect
Yeah,
reference stories,
thanks.
because I think that's it. Because you're just in the pit,
Yeah, so now
and
I'm
you're
like,
not
I
don't
can't
even want
sing.
to get out.
No.
Yeah, so
No.
I think that's where it's really important. You've got people around you saying,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to sing loudly, but how about you come with me to this choir, or
Yeah.
I'm going to sing this, and you're going to
Yeah.
come, and then slowly you have a good
'Cause I
experience.
tried,
I've got
I
the
went-
same with French.
I went to choir. You've got French all over this
It's a
school.
French school. Yeah, we speak French. But I remember in senior school, same thing.
Yeah.
I think the teacher told me that my work was boring or my answers were boring. They might have been correct, but they weren't
They were
interesting
right. So
enough.
just want to make that
They were-
point.
they were right.
right.
And since then I just thought, no.
Yeah.
And because it's I think languages are a risk. I personally feel like
Mm,
you're standing there, you're saying you don't really understand it, but you've got to give it a go anyway.
yeah.
I'm awful in other countries.
It's scary, isn't it? Yet. No, not
At
yet.
the moment,
At
but
the
I really
moment.
want to improve. I'll go on holiday.
Well, I actually went to a choir because I was so determined to overcome this
wow.
thing, and I mimed.
At that
Because
time,
I made the mistake of going with Maria Conyard. Maria Conyard, who's watching. Hi, Maria. I
she
think I've seen
amazing?
your name pop up. Oh, professional singer Maria Conyard.
Okay.
Why did I go with you? She was lovely. She
Oh, she held your hand.
literally held my hand.
yeah.
Because she knew that I really wanted to do it, and I couldn't. I wasn't brave enough.
But I think when you're in the learning pit, you can other people can help you out.
Yes.
And I think we do quite a lot of that sort of teamwork and yeah, you can find other ways, and it's sort of having that independence of thinking I don't have to get myself out all the time. You
Yeah.
might be able to. Maybe my teacher can help. Maybe my friend can help. Maybe
Lucy
Maybe
Bishop
there's
taking
a-
me sailing.
yeah, maybe there's some tools or equipment that are going to help me with that. It's like strategies, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
recognizing this is where I am and how I'm feeling, instead of freezing,
but finding the
I can
ladders,
find
isn't
the
it?
right
You've
way
got to
out.
Find
Exactly.
a little ladder to get you out. See?
Yeah.
Oh God, we could talk
So
about this
much.
all day. Honestly, we really could talk about this all day. In fact, there's been a few comments that I've sort of skipped past that
Oh,
have
yeah.
just said, "Can we do more?" They want
Yeah,
more.
maybe we should.
Should we give you your own talk show? That'd be good, wouldn't it? Let's have
Well,
a
now
little talk show.
I've jumped in.
See, it
I
wasn't
feel
that bad,
like-
was it?
Well, I've
It
survived.
was okay.
Yeah,
You've done more than survive. You've done fantastically. done brilliantly well. So
Yeah.
lovely Lorraine is at Gin Fund HQ at the moment, so she's
Great.
been sharing some links. So we've got a link here to Faraday School.
Oh,
So
perfect.
Faraday are hosting us today. I'm in
Yeah.
Faraday School, which by the way is lovely, in East London, and we are directly opposite the Dome. So Claire was
we are.
saying that if you're in Greenwich or anywhere around Greenwich, you can get here really easily, can't you?
Yeah, there's the foot tunnel, isn't there?
Yes.
But also the Thames Clippers are going to put us on their route in the very near future.
Take your kids to school by
boat, which will be fantastic.
And we're really easily commutable from Canary Wharf. So
Yeah,
if your
people do
kids are at
come
Canary
from-
Wharf,
Yeah, exactly.
then you
I've
could.
got a child
someone
at the
knocking
door.
at the door. Oh,
I think it might be someone
Yeah.
showing us something.
Okay, but yeah. So if you're, if you're working in Canary Wharf, or you're living in Greenwich,
Yeah.
or you're anywhere near this area, and you would like your kids to be with Claire, would we
Yeah.
all? Then,
Do pop in though, because I think the best thing, obviously, with schools, it's such a tricky choice, but do come in and have a look around, because I think seeing the children, using their growth mindsets in the classroom, that's when you can really see what they're doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you so
Welcome.
much for having us.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming all the way.
Yes, I came all the way from Devon.
It's our birthday today, so you're gonna have to eat some cake.
Happy birthday!
It's 10 years of Faraday today.
Is it?
Yeah, everyone's got
Congratulations.
special. Oh,
Oh,
here you go.
Oh, we've all got t-shirts.
yeah, this is a
on.
design. Felicity did this.
Oh,
us.
look at
Oh,
that.
I can't do it.
That's it.
So
that's it.
all the teachers and children are wearing Faraday birthday t-shirts today.
It's nice.
Balloons and cake.
Happy birthday.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for having us. Guys, if you have enjoyed this live, please do share it with your friends, or like it, or tag your friends. And yeah, if you want Claire to come back, then please comment. We'd love to have her. And
We'll stick
do
to the
read the
script.
blog. Yeah, what script? Do read the blog. The blog is in here somewhere. Here it is. You'll find it
Okay.
on the Gin Fund website, mummysginfund.co.uk/blog. This is when I feel like I'm on telly when I say things like that.
I'm enjoying it, and I like the pop-ups.
Yeah, it's really cool,
Yeah.
isn't it? mummysginfund.co.uk/blog, or just from the homepage you'll find it. But it's really, really excellent blog written by gorgeous Laura, with some really good top tips. So thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for all the lovely comments about my hair, by the way.
I feel like
I'm getting used to it.
Oh, you're fully
Yeah,
on
I'm
that
here. It's
one.
okay, I'm up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got I don't know about the hair yet.
No, it's
It's
brilliant.
a work in progress. But anyway,
Yeah.
thanks for having us,
See you
everybody.
later.
See you later. Bye.